Well, there was a lot of confusion at the beginning of the year. There's always a lot of questions from parents when the school year starts on what can my kids wear, what can't my kids wear. We send out a notice with their emergency forms right at the beginning of the year, and what that form says is it says no jean-like pants. That's what the quote that's on that's in quotes on their form, and there's a lot of confusion about what that means. In my head, as a parent, that meant no denim. So I was approached by a lot of parents who said, my principal says that jean-like means this or means that, means no rivets, means no pockets on the outsides of your pants, means no double seams. So there was a lot of confusion from building to building.
So what have you found out what jeans-like is, maybe to talk to a lot of the parents here with Akron Public Schools students?
Well, that's where the confusion really lies. I had one principal tell me she sent out an email to all of her cohorts around the district, and of the 7 emails she got back, she had 7 different answers on what that meant. So that's when I decided that we needed to ask the superintendent for some clarification on this, because if you've got even that many principals varying on what that means, then of course you're going to have confusion by parents, because not only are our children moving from building to building as they progress through the district, but we also have principals that move from building to building with new assignments in the fall. So there could be some confusion coming in. Parents have already done their back-to-school shopping, and they show up. They have a new principal. They're excited to have a new principal, but now they've got a whole new set of rules to start with. And in this economy, we don't want parents to have to go out and buy a whole new set of clothes just because their principal has changed or just because they've moved to a new building.
And just to pull a specific brand, because I know that in doing school shopping for my 9-year-old, some of the, quote, Dockers brands have the rivets and such. So would those be considered jeans-like, or don't you know?
Depends on which building you're in, then, doesn't it? I had the same problem. I had a pair of Docker pants that I bought that were in a uniform section of a school, and I had a lot of complaints from parents about that, too. I bought these at, X stores, uniform section, and now my principal says they can't wear these, and they're Dockers, and they're not made out of denim, but they have rivets. It's the style right now. So what we want to do is the uniform policy went in 08, 09, and it's just time to clarify it and make sure that parents and administrators are on the same page. And so David's going to sit down with up to stakeholders, parents, administrators, people who are boots on the ground who are making these decisions, because the most important part is having the kids behind in their seats, not what's on their behind. So,
Lisa, do you know when David's going to do this?
I know that we've been talking a little, between the two of us, that it's been a consideration of him as well. He has a daughter that's at a middle school also. Middle schools are always our wild card. That's where children try to push the envelope the most. So they're always the ones that are in question. So he's, even David has brought up the fact that there's some question and some discrepancy over what's going on. So I know it's going to be soon. We don't want parents out there in limbo or administrators trying to make these decisions without any support.
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. We're talking with Lisa Mansfield from the Akron Public Schools Board of Education. This is not only a policy from Akron Public Schools, but it's an economic issue. When you talk about economic times and parents getting these new clothes, and all of a sudden they might find out a lot of them they can't wear.
Well, absolutely. I have that in mind all the time. I'm thinking about my neighbors who, it might even be hand-me-downs from child number 1 to child number 2, and now you have a new principal. We don't want them to have to go out there and strain their budget in times when times are tough. This is a real consideration. I know that I had to go out and buy some for my son, and he's a hard one to fit. He's about 6'1", about 100 pounds or so, so he's got this real itty-bitty waist. He's hard to find pants for. And, that's a struggle, too. You can find them in one style. You can't find them in another. They're the right color. Are they the right style? I had to hold them up and ask him.